Jenkins. I'm with Charlotte Vibe, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel where each and every week I interview players one-on-one. And the cool thing about it is I always say I work for the fans. So I always take questions from you guys, ideas from you all, and I put that into my interviews with these players every week. And something very fun at the end of the interview is I do an activity like Office Olympics, just something really fun. And I don't always win, but that's not the point. Just so you guys can get the chance to see these players as people, not just as guys with helmets on running around on Sundays. It's really cool. So if I have your interest, please click subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think. Uh-oh, you can hear me, but you can't see me. Give me just a second. I forgot to hit one little button. And there you go. Now you can see me. Man, I tell you what, I love being more experienced at this, because before I was making some big mistakes with my broadcast. It was bothering me, but I got everything fixed. So let me go ahead and get into this. Yes, Carolina Panthers are victorious. They have now won 2 games in a row. I got a sneeze coming up. Hopefully it won't be too bad. I'm Chris Jenkins, a credential member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. Today is Sunday, October the 4th, and the Carolina Panthers have a 2-game winning streak. So I'm going to thank you for joining me tonight. We're going to go over some things, recapping today, go over some stats, go over some player interviews, and do what I love to do the most, which is take questions from you guys as we talk about this game. Carolina Panthers now 2-2 after beating the Arizona Cardinals 31-21 here in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium in front of fans. Officially, I think it was about 5,100 fans that were listed as being there. Some people are saying that number may be a little stretched, but who cares? Fans were there, players and coaches enjoyed it, and we got a victory. So I'm going to walk you through a few of the interviews that we are privileged to talk to after the game, starting with Coach Rule and a few other players. But first, I got to ask a few favors. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell notification. If you're on Twitter or Facebook and you have questions, I encourage you to go on over to YouTube, as I am able to monitor the questions from there. Can't so much on the other outlets. And your super chats are always welcome. So let me go ahead and get into a few comments, because you know I love being a man of the people. You gotta read the comments if you're a man of the people, right? Donna B, Mike Davis played very well. Yes, he did. Mike Davis played exceptionally well. And that leads to a question that I have coming up. We're going to talk about Christian McCaffrey and what kind of workload he should be having with these other guys that have been doing extremely well. I didn't bring my water, which I'm going to try to make it through without needing my water. And someone talked about Jeremy Chin playing a good game. Yes, indeed he did. My man Shakid signed on. I appreciate you doing so. The Panthers are a very dangerous team, extremely dangerous team. So commenting on that, yeah, these Panthers, in my opinion, all season have looked very legit. Very legit. You know, the first couple of games, they were in those games, coming back in some of those games, having a chance to win those games, and now they have a 2-game winning streak. And I feel like we may be on the verge of being a very fortunate fan base that has a first-year coach and a lot of new things that just happened to click and work for us the first season. And hey, I'll take it. I'll take it in a heartbeat. B. Evans, we did it twice. Yeah, 2-game winning streak. And the live speaker, what's up, Chris? I think we have something to be excited for as we build and can grow. We can only get better. Yeah, so absolutely. I was watching that game today, and, you know, to be honest with you, I said, you know what? I may have to plan to go to a few more games this season, because this thing may get pretty exciting really quickly. Don't know if that's actually going to happen, because COVID is still here. It's going to be here for a while. And the NFL is taking a lot of precautions, which changes media access quite a bit from what we're used to doing. But certainly makes me eager to see these guys with my own eyes in person during the game, which I just haven't done yet this season. And we got a prediction. I can see this team with 8+ wins this season. Hey, we're a quarter of the way there already, right? We already got 2. So let me go over the interviews that we were able to have with players and coaches after the game. And we're going to start with head coach Matt Rule. Talks to us pretty quickly after the game. Okay, hold on. I got one more comment here that I want to share. This team, man, I accepted the fact that they would only win 3 games this year and getting Trevor. Now expect to make the playoffs. Now expecting to make the playoffs is pretty lofty. But I will say this. I'm going to look at the standings a little bit later before we sign off. But it's completely, utterly impossible not to have faith in this team right now and Coach Rule and what he's doing and what he's building. And just to have excitement. And even if they're just... Anyway, let me stay on task here with my notes. And then for those that are new to watching my channel, I like to go over the player and coaches interviews first. You guys can certainly load me up, leaving your comments and questions. Once I get through the notes that I have with players and coaches, then we'll go back to your guys' comments and interact, because that's what I like to do. So Coach Rule was up first. And he talked about this being a physical game, and he felt like a lot of the players stepped up today. Spoke specifically of Dante Jackson and about how proud that he was that Dante not only played today. He said at the beginning of last week, he actually was kind of skeptical and wondering about whether or not Dante Jackson will be ready to go. You know, he's had 2 games and 2 injuries, and, you know, there's reason for concern there. But he said the way that Dante Jackson came out, not only played today, got injured again, came out of the game, and then returned and was a big, benefit on this defensive side. He's just really impressed and fallen in love with Dante Jackson. Even though he got banged up, he played through it all and did pretty well for us. Rasul Douglas, he felt like did a very good job of following Hopkins around the entire game and really limiting Hopkins. Let me see if I can bring this up really quick. Forgot to DeAndre Hopkins. 7 receptions, 41 yards, 9 targets. So, DeAndre is battling some injuries, so that's something certainly to take into consideration. But he's still a great wide receiver. A lot of these great wide receivers, even if they're injured, they find ways to produce. And it was good to see that the Carolina Panthers were able to hold him and check pretty good this past Sunday, early this morning. He said, now I'm going to have to be honest with you guys, I'm going to have to look into this a little bit further, because Coach Rule said something to the media today that kind of stuck out to me, because he didn't say who I thought he was going to say as far as his player of the game or standout player of the game on the offensive side. So he mentioned that Curtis Samuel was huge. And he didn't just say he was huge one time. He said he was huge, huge, huge. So he really emphasized Curtis Samuel play today and said that specifically he was good at extending plays and extending downs and extending possessions. So that didn't jump out to me, just like the coaches do. I do go back and watch the tape, and I'm going to look for that. But that was Coach Rule's player of the game. Hey, certainly leave your comments now, or if you're watching this recorded, leave it below, and I'll get back to you on what my thoughts are about Curtis Samuel. I certainly didn't think he played anything bad today. I really fell in love with Robbie Anderson and Mike Davis out there today. Davis just looked very, very incredible out there today. But I'm not the coach. I'm just an analyst. Special teams also had an impact, but he said they had too many penalties, just too many penalties, and that's something that he's going to address with the team. He's already began addressing it. I'm assuming that he did that in his post-game chat with the team. And he said, hey, media, we can talk about the fact that it was only 5,000 out of 70,000 people all day, and maybe even say that it wasn't truly 5,000 people out there. But for him, he loved it. He was excited. He felt the energy from the fans being out there. He loved it. Players came on and talked to us as well, and each of those, not each of them, but the guys who didn't mention or were asked about fans said they loved it. I think it was Yetur Gross. I gotta practice saying his name fluently, but Yetur Gross. Don't kill me about this, but Yetur said that his parents were there. They've never missed a game. Last week they made a video being outside. They were able to be at the game today, and he could hear him, calling his name and cheering for him loudly. So he really appreciated and liked having the fans at the game as well. But Rule went on to say that he gives the defensive coordinator a lot of credit for the game plan today. Phil Snow, because one thing that he says that he felt they needed to do against Kyler Murray was give him a lot of different looks, because he felt like if you give Kyler the chance to kind of really see the same thing and know what you're getting, then that's when he'll have a chance to excel. He's still, just a second-year quarterback, so you can take advantage of some things like that. He's not like a Tom Brady, Drew Brees yet, where he can very quickly digest things and get back at you. So he gave a lot of credit to his coaching staff for the game plan today, and I felt like it. Joe Brady did an exceptional job today as I was watching him. I love the play calling. It wasn't anything over the top, but it was really, really balanced, really, really good. And turns out we had a great victory. So wrapping up with Rule's session with the media, when asked about, hey, what's contributed the most to this turnaround, he's kind of like, no, it's not been a turnaround. We haven't turned anything around, as in we haven't been doing anything horrible and bad and egregious out there to lose games. We are just been growing. We have had guys, we're a new coaching staff, new players, and we've just had time to get to jail. And that's all that you're seeing, and hope that they continue to see. And again, his thing that he said last week, scrutinize the game that you win just as hard as the games that you lost, so that you can continue to grow and get better. Excuse me. Give you a few more shout outs. Donna, thank you for signing on. Alton Moore, signing on. I appreciate everybody signing on. So moving on through the availability that we had today with the media. Next up was Teddy Bridgewater, and he was asked about his chemistry with Robbie Anderson. He said, that guy is somebody who comes in, doesn't say a lot. He's not a big talking kind of guy, but he knows football, and he's all football when he's out there, and that's been something that he's appreciated, and it's allowed them to connect as much as they are. And Bridgewater, he also touched on the fact of, why the success now? How's this thing been turned around? How are you guys winning? And he said, everything has just been new. And he's told a story last week that I don't think I mentioned, and said, like, this year it wasn't much of an off season, and everybody was kept separate because of COVID. And then all of a sudden you get a text and you're on a plane and you come here, and now boom, you're thrown into the season. And that's just a lot of stuff to take in. And he just feels like it's just now they're getting used to everything, and they're absorbing more, and they're able to play better. So I think from the standpoint of, I see a lot of comments here, people being excited, that you have a very good reason to be excited, and can probably count on being even more excited as the season goes on, because this team looks like they're going to do nothing but just get better and better. Matt Paradis came on and talked for a while as well. He had an injury. If you don't notice, he came out for a few snaps. Tyler Larson had to come in for him. So what happened was his ring finger got dislocated. And ironically, you look at that as something that can happen a lot to linemen because they're in the trenches a lot. But he says that's the first time that he's had a finger dislocated. So he had to go through the process of getting it popped into place. But really what he needed to do was get confident with the finger working to snap the ball. And then once he was able to get adjusted to that new sensation with having that finger dislocated, put back in place, and now clutching the ball, he was able to go in and really not miss a beat. And he said, he didn't sign up for the Carolina Panthers to come in and be with this young group. And he's not saying like he don't want that, but that just wasn't what he knew he was coming into. But he certainly appreciated and enjoying the fact that he's playing with these younger guys, and how much everybody's learning, how much everybody's gelling. He said one time he did feel a little old talking to some guys, talking about, what you're doing in 2015. And some of these guys were at the prom, and, he was a pro in 2015, but nevertheless, he's enjoying it and glad that this team is coming together, and he's loving playing for Coach Rule. And I think he said that this is, don't quote me exactly, but he's had a lot of turnover that he's had to face in his pro career. And I think he said this is his 5th coach in 7 seasons, but he's enjoying playing with Matt Rule, and these guys are rolling. They're on a 2-game win streak right now. I really wish I could pause this live video and go get me some water, but don't have that luxury. Maybe the wife is listening and she'll run and get me some water. But let's continue to move on through this video. Robbie Anderson was up next, and I got to tell you, my commitment to you guys this week is I'm going to unfold more of the Robbie Anderson persona, who he is. Because when he comes on, I see this big hair, and I'm expecting a lot of personality from this guy. And in my opinion, he comes on, he's pretty dry, he's pretty plain, seems very unexcited, and I really got a feeling there's a lot more to it. So I'm going to be doing a lot of reporting, talking to Robbie as much as I can, Teddy and Coach Rule, about this Robbie Anderson personality and who he is. So look forward to that. Subscribe to the channel so that you can watch that as I get that information. But when he was asked about his chemistry with Teddy Bridgewater, he said it's been something that's been like that since day one. And what I got to dig more into is how long these guys have known each other. Because he mentioned both of them being from Florida, and they did do some off-season workouts together that allowed them to start to have some chemistry. But he says that he knows Teddy as a person, and that started way before he came to Carolina. And I didn't get a chance to follow up much on that. He says, he could talk to Teddy about things outside of football. And my hunch is that these guys have had some type of pre-existing relationship, and that just is giving them some comfort, some extra comfort that they're leveraging right now to have all these connections. I got some stats that I want to go over with you guys about Robbie, which is, I think right now he's almost averaging 100 yards per game. But I'm going to get a little bit more into that coming up here in a bit. Last up was Brian Burns, who talked with the media again. He talked with us last week, and he was just happy to get that feeling of, I'm sorry, we talked to him 2 weeks ago after the Tampa Bay loss. And when talking about the struggles, he said he had his head down. He's like, man, I'm just sick of it, man. I can't take it. I can't stand it. So in stark contrast, asked about the winning today, and he said, hey, I love it. This is where we need to be. This is what I want to come into the league for, and I don't want to lose this feeling. We got to keep it going. So he mentioned about how excited the locker room was and how he is, and thoughts of Trey Boston going crazy and celebrating in the locker room comes to mind. So this team definitely is loving this new winning tradition that they're creating and wanting to keep it going. And when asked about the winning, he said everything's just starting to click. And he really can't explain it. He did seem at a loss of words, like, everything's just starting to click. And I think what that means, if you will translate that, is he's saying that they're no longer out there trying to figure out who this next guy is beside them and what that guy's going to do. They're learning each other as players. Last week we talked about how, I believe it was Rasul Douglas, convinced the team to have a moment where they talked about how they got here, what sacrifices they are to making to be in the NFL, and everything. When he says everything's clicking, they've now been together through 4 games, which Coach Rule noted, like, this is typically where you are done with preseason, having 4 games, and it's just starting to roll. And I asked him about that play where he got the 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty, and he said, if you know me, that's not who he is, but the game does bring out emotions, and he says, emotions just get high, and that's something that you're not going to continue to see from him in terms of that 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. So that wraps up my take on the players and coaches that we had a chance to speak to today after the game. I'm going to go over some of the scores from today and let you know where the Panthers stand within a division, and then I am going to go over some questions. Give me just one. Didn't work. I was trying to call for some water, but nobody's listening to me. Let's go over some of the other scores from today. Give me just 1 second. Other scores, of course, I'm only focusing on the NFC South. I do know the New Orleans Saints won, and Tampa won. I just want to get the scores for you guys really quickly, and I promise next time I'll have this lined up. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady had a great game, 5 touchdowns. They came back to beat the Los Angeles Chargers 38-31. And then we also had the Saints, who took on Detroit, and they were behind in that game. They came back as well, as which, you can't expect New Orleans to just go on a losing streak, but they were able to beat the Detroit Lions 35-29. And the Atlanta Falcons play tomorrow night against Green Bay on Monday Night Football. That game is going to be at 8:30. So, I'm sorry, at 8:50. And so, as it stands right now, NFC South, guess who's at the top? Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at the top with a record of, wait for it, 3-1. Your Carolina Panthers are number 2 with a current record of 2-2. And then you got the New Orleans Saints, 3rd place at 2-2. And currently the Atlanta Falcons at 0-3. All right, let me go through some of these comments here because I work for the people. So let's see what you guys have been talking about since I gave some updates. Just read through the comments, so give me a second here. Donna B, thanks for your comments. Alton Moore, appreciate your comments as well. Panthers Guide FSU 23. I still love Ron, but Burns is tearing it up. I wonder what Ron was thinking last year, keeping him as a gunner. Well, I'm sure, so that comment is talking about Kyle Ellis is saying still loves Ron Rivera, but what was Ron Rivera thinking last year when he had Brian Burns playing a lot as a gunner? So you can't get too mad at that, Kyle. It sounds like you love some Brian Burns. Hey, Jeremy Chin is playing all over the place. He's a personal protector right now. So it's just an initiation type thing. It's just part of the process. Rookies have to have roles on special teams. And so that's all Ron Rivera was doing last year, was making sure that that rookie had a role on special teams. And now that he's, I don't know exactly what his role is right now, but he has a little bit less of a role. All right. Uh-oh. I got some stats that I want to go over with you all, but I didn't completely load it up. So I still will load that up. So give me just a quick second. We're going to go over a few stats from today's game, and you guys can continue to load me up with some of your questions or comments. Again, if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, I'm going to ask that you just head right on over to YouTube, because on that platform, I'm able to see your questions, and on the other platforms, I cannot. So let's go ahead and go over a few stats from today's game. Teddy Bridgewater, he was pretty good today, pretty solid. 26 of 37 for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So what do you do when you have a good game? You don't get sacked. Well, Teddy Bridgewater, he gave a game ball to the offensive line after today's game. So can't be mad at Teddy. I'm sure come Christmas time, that's a big time where the players give each other gifts. You can kind of count on Teddy Bridgewater giving those linemen some gifts if he could have another game where he doesn't touch the turf. Continue to move on through some more stats from today. Let's go ahead and look at the rushing from today. Sorry about that little gap there. Got to talk to my graphics. You got to get your stuff together. I thought Mike Davis today did an exceptional job. I was watching Mike Davis, and at first I was going to go, maybe I see why Christian, I don't know. I don't know if I was just trying to hate on the guy for a second, really early on. I don't know. But after a few plays, I said, man, this guy looks like he can sidestep. The Bulls just like Olay. Like he's Olaying everybody that's coming to him. And he was not only Olaying people or making them miss, he was running over people. And Reggie Bonifant as well. So I'm excited about this team. Let me go ahead and bring this graphic back up. But Mike Davis, 16 carries, 84 yards. He had 5.3 yards that he was averaging, and he had a touchdown. And I don't have this on the graphic, but in addition to his rushing, he had 5 receptions for 27 yards off 6 targets. So this guy only missed 1 yard one target, and I think that ball wasn't even thrown well at him. So he had over 100 yards from scrimmage today. So if you look at a guy that comes in and just next man up mentality, I mean, I love this team. I love the way that they're playing. So let me go ahead and continue to bring you some more stats from today. And I forgot to already load this up, but if you give me a split second, I'm going to create my graphic and share it with you guys. This graphic here is going to be on Robbie Anderson, who continues to excel. All right, here we go. Robbie Anderson, 8 receptions on 11 targets, 99 yards rushing. And while you're up there looking at this, just let me share this. Actually, I'll take this down for a second. Let me share this with you. Just how good Robbie Anderson's doing. He has nearly 400 yards on the season. So he's nearly averaging 100 yards per game. Exceptional. Of those yards, and I don't know exact, but it's certainly right knocking on the door of 400 on the season. He has a whopping 193 yards after the catch. That means nearly half of his yards are coming after the catch. So, before the game, preseason show, if you didn't watch it, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification so you can know when I'm doing it and join me. But I said, is Robbie Anderson going to surpass DJ Moore as the #1 wide receiver? And this is not to say at all that DJ Moore is starting to be terrible. I don't think that at all. I just feel like Robbie Anderson is starting to be that good. And it seems like he already has a really good chemistry with Teddy Bridgewater. And so then you combine the fact that he's getting a lot of yards after the catch. That's not really something that you would see going away. I mean, that's based off this guy's speed and his ability to get away from tacklers. And I only see that growing, right? And DJ Moore is great. He, somebody I saw on Twitter talked about like he's a running back after the catch. I think so. I think he's an exceptional runner after the catch. He's really strong, but it just seems like Anderson has just that bit of more chemistry with Teddy. He's going to get more opportunities. And hey, I'm not going to be mad if I'm sitting here talking to you guys after week 16, because they got 17 weeks in the season, say, hey, next week these guys have a chance to have 1,000 yards apiece. I mean, there's some more stats that I'm going to post on Twitter later about the game and where some of these players stand. But Teddy Bridgewater is near the top of the league in yards per game, and that's something to be optimistic about in terms of the team going forward. All right, one last stat for you guys here. Got to talk about the defense. The defense is coming together very well, gelling very well. Jeremy Chin led with 8 tackles, and Justin Burris had 6 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass deflection. Shaq Thompson had a good game too, but you know what? I got to be fair. Shaq Thompson missed some tackles today, missed some last week too. But as long as he keeps it down to just 1, I'm going to say he's allowed to be human. He's allowed to miss 1 tackle, but you are replacing some great linebackers. So keep doing your thing. All right, let me finish going through these. Brian Burns had 2 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and had a very, very nice 3 quarterback hits. So he was able to get a lot of pressure on Tyler Murray. And for the most part, they were able to contain Murray throughout the day. He did have, I think, 2 decent runs today. Had one pretty long one, which I really feel like he just got tired. I felt like Tyler could have scored on that run that I think was about 50 yards. But hey, I'm a Panthers fan, so I'm glad that he did not score. So let's go back and look over some more of these comments, and then I'm going to wrap up with some things that I have. And again, hey, hit that like button if you have not already done so. It helps other Panthers fans find out about me. And also consider subscribing on the YouTube channel, because I am going to be looking into the relationship with Robbie Gould, Teddy Bridgewater, and just trying to find some good, insightful information about their relationship to help you all learn more about these guys as players. Let me read some comments. We wanted Bonifant today, and we got him. Yes, we did get Reggie Bonifant today, and you gotta anticipate that this guy's going to have to make the 53-man roster, and that we're going to have some waivers this week as we make room for him. You know, Christian McCaffrey is eligible to come back after 3 weeks. That's something new because of COVID. But I don't know. You kind of feel like if Christian comes back, I don't know. I'm not a coach. I'm glad I'm not a coach in this situation to decide what they're going to do long term. But you feel like Reggie definitely has to come back for this week, because Christian has to be out 1 more week. And then week 4, what will technically be week 6, is when they're going to have to make a really bigger decision about this team as a whole and their running back situation. Mike Davis, he is a very underrated running back. I don't know if he was, he could have been before now, but there's no way that Mike Davis is going to continue to be an underrated running back if he was prior to today. The guy's just exceptional. I know Jonathan Stewart got on Twitter himself and said that he's just running like a beast. You know, I'm sure it stands out to Stewart because he was 28 and Mike is 28, but he not only was he just running over people through the backfield, he was catching passes and doing an extremely good job there. So gotta love the pickup for Mike. And it's unfortunate for Reggie, but now you can certainly see why Mike was boosted above Reggie Bonifant in that running back room. What's up, Tommy Walker? I see that you're glad that the Carolina Panthers got the W. Yeah, we look good, man. Definitely look good. Another comment here. Phil Snow and the defense made it snow on the Cardinals today. Phil Snow is opening up the playbook more. He is. Hey, tell me your guys' favorite play today on the offense. I'm curious to hear what your opinions are out there. Leave your comments about your favorite play on the offense. Derek Brown was beasting today. He did. He had two plays back to back where he was very impactful. I think he had a tackle for a loss. Let me take a look real quick. Yep. Derek Brown had a tackle for a loss. And yeah, he's definitely a player to be excited about and look forward to continue to develop with this team. Tommy loved the running backs today. How could you not? Let me just put this. Let me just put this graphic back up here just one more time. How could you not love these running backs today? Look at this. Mike Davis, 16 carries, 84 yards. Average 5.3. Reggie Bonifant, 10 carries, 53 yards. Average 5.3. That's, our running backs today, they did really, really good. And this team actually mixed it up very well today. So we had 35 rushes and we had 37 pass attempts. 35 rushes, 35 pass attempts. That is an extremely balanced team. And what I get excited about is the talent is spread out all around on this team. Of course, you got Christian McCaffrey on one side, you got Shaq Thompson on the other side, or you could pick Brian Burns. You could pick a number of guys like Dante Jackson. You got a lot of playmakers that are on both sides of the ball. Christian, Teddy, Mike, Curtis, DJ Moore. and you're getting really solid all-around efforts, and that's what has me the most excited for this team to sustain success. We don't have one single point of failure on either side of the ball, and that's great. That's what you want. So asked about the favorite play, the Teddy touchdown run. Okay. Tommy Walker says Yetur Gross Matos is progressing well, and he certainly is. Certainly is. 10 Tizzy said, I can tell you my favorite comment from the announcer was Jeremy Chin is what the Cardinals want Isaiah Simmons to be. I do remember hearing that. We're bringing the energy flying around. You know, I'm glad that you said that. And I'm sorry for my voice. I didn't bring my water up, but I will change my voice a little bit so I don't have to cough when you guys hear. Coach Rule said that people are noticing how much this defense is flying around. And he's had people outside the organization as they're watching tape on the Panthers comment to him about how much this team is flying around. And it's true. They are flying around, and we're getting results, and we're getting pressure. We're getting 3 and outs. We're getting lots. I don't know how many times the Cardinals punted in that first half, but I know the Carolina Panthers didn't. So lots of stuff to be excited about. All right, as we go to wrap up here, I got a question that came through. It's like you guys are reading my mind. I really wish my wife would bring me some water. Is a few of the negative things that stood out that I wanted to point to you guys was penalties today, fortunately, did not catch up with us. We only had one turnover. The Cardinals had one turnover, but we had 10 penalties for 72 yards, and that's something that Rule already began addressing with the team today. Only one other game in which we had that much. I think that was game 2. We had about 75 yards, 79 yards in penalties, but we had 9. Today we had 10. So that's way too many. Need to bring that down, and I know that Rule's going to work with the team to do so. Joe Brady, after the game, tweeted 1-0. And that's something that he also did after week 1, was tweet that they're 1-0. And I bring that up because Rule is here, and he's trying to, and I think he's doing a great job, is put his mark on this team, get his culture, get his players thinking the way that he wants them to, get his coaches coaching the way that he wants them to matches with his philosophy in a way that's going to create wins for this team. And you see Joe Brady tweet 1-0, and that echoes the way that Coach Rule talks about, hey, celebrate your victory, bask in it. Monday's good, but come Tuesday, we're 0. We're 0-0, and we're trying to go 1-0. And that's a good approach. Just take it week by week. They have signs all around the building that says 1-0. And this team has certainly already proven to me that they have bought in and believe in Coach Rule's system. And that's awesome. I feel like there's a bright future ahead of us. Another little miscellaneous note for you guys. We had 30 first downs today. That shows how much ball control we were having, how balanced this team was today. Having 30 first downs is a season high for us. The previous high was about 24 that we had. So we had 6 more first downs today than we've had all season long. So let me go ahead and get into this question that just came up, which was actually part of the one topic of the day that I wanted to present to you guys. And I'm going to put this up on the screen for a second. I know there's a delay from when I'm going live to when you guys see it, so I'm kind of just ad-libbing for a second. But I want to see everybody that's watching right now, type your comment about what you see on the screen. I know some people are saying so many various things about it, but essentially, should Christian McCaffrey take his time coming back? And when he does come back, should he be splitting the load with a lot of these other guys, Mike Davis and Reggie Bonifant? So I'm talking slowly because I want to give you guys a chance to start typing your comments. And then I'm going to let you know my comment. And then we'll wrap up. And yes, I will go get some water. I'm sorry. I forgot to get my cup because I wanted to be on time for this show today. Shouts out to the offensive line. All right, so you guys are starting to leave some comments now. Christian gets 60% and Mike gets 40%. Okay, that's the first comment to come through. What do you guys think about that? Christian gets 60% of the carries and Mike Davis gets 40%. Now that's huge. I think it's more like a 95, 90-10 split right now before Christian got hurt. Excuse me. Okay, all the backs have special talents. Throw Bonifant in there too. Hey, Tommy Walker, so do you do you feel like when Christian comes back that he should split carries a lot more than what he did previously? And should we take our time with bringing Christian back? All right, so again, I know there's a delay from when I talk to when you guys see it, but I was just trying to give a moment for some of the comments to come up. You can't handle the truth. What's up? Appreciate you joining in. So let me go ahead and talk. Tommy says utilize all the backs. So here's my take on it, and certainly you guys continue to leave your comments. I'll read them before I sign off. Let's not. It's funny. It's almost like sometimes fans have as short of a memory as, not for long, what the NFL stands for. Like, as soon as a guy's gone, you forget about him. So it makes me think about that saying is your best? Oh, man. It's some saying about basically your best asset to a team is availability, because once you go out and you're not available, then that hurts your chances. So Christian's been out 2 weeks, and I feel like people are forgetting about how incredible Christian was and what he achieved last season. And rushing yards over 1,000, receiving yards over 1,000. And how many plays did he play last season and how incredible he is. So, yes, I'm happy for Mike Davis and Reggie Bonifant and the way that Joe Brady is coaching this team and calling the plays. But there's no way on earth that I suddenly take Christian McCaffrey out and give him a 60-40 split with these other guys. Why? Now, certainly, what I may do? Here's what I may do. I may be more quick to sit Christian should we have a lead. Should we be up by 14 and it's late in the fourth quarter? All right, I may let the guys come in maybe a little bit quicker than I would previously, but not too much. But let's say we're up by 3 touchdowns. Okay, as soon as we're up by 3, late in the fourth quarter, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not going to wave the white flag, but yeah, I'll start to give those other guys more opportunities. So I think I'll be quicker to give the other running backs opportunities when there's a chance to give Christian a rest or just a chance to take advantage of something. But I'm not going to say I need to now switch up and in the first quarter, second quarter, we're trying to win the game. Let's give Reggie Bonifant the ball more. Let's give Mike Davis the ball. No, they're not as good as Christian McCaffrey by a long shot. Christian McCaffrey has done this consistently for years. And Mike, he's doing it for 2 or 3 games, 2 games so far. Reggie's 2 games so far. Again, I applaud those guys. I like it. I'm glad that we have them. But there's no reason, in my opinion, to make a big change in the way that they utilize Christian McCaffrey. And in terms of having Christian McCaffrey take his time coming back, that ain't going to happen. By no means will Christian. You don't become a guy that can set the records that Christian set by being a person that's complacent, by being a person that's not extremely driven, right? So that same person is he's happy that this team is winning by far, but if he can be back after only 3 weeks, Christian is going to be back after only 3 weeks. He's in this to win. So that's my take on the Christian McCaffrey and how they should utilize him with these other running backs that they have. All right. I think I'm about to wrap up because I don't have any more content. Yep, that wraps me up. Checking my comments from you guys. I don't see any questions out there. So we're going to go ahead and sign off. And again, thank everybody that tuned in and watched. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment. love to embrace the man of the people that you guys call me by working for you guys. And what that means is if you have a question for a player or for a coach, let me know and I will do my, now granted the question has to have some merit, but as long as I'm getting good questions to ask these guys and things to research, I'm going to work for you all and bring that to you, right? So appreciate you watching, appreciate you tuning in and all the support. I am Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe, and everybody enjoy their Sunday, all right?